Grand Rising to the tribe, Grand Rising to the collective. Man, it's the Hood Mystic here with another video. Today we're going to be discussing the new moon in Scorpio. The title of this video is going to be Deep Transformation. Uh, for those who don't know, my name is Kyrie Anthony. I'm an astrologer, author, and occultist. And my goal and my hope is to assist you along your spiritual journey. Uh, If you need any supplies, any support, please visit ColumbianExchange.com or WhiteRabbitPsych.com. My blog, HoodMystic.com, are just some links that you can utilize to just see who I am and what I have to offer. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at The Hood Mystic. I post pretty regularly over there. So, and additionally, if you want to continue the conversation, please utilize the link in the description to join the Discord. Shout out to the initiates for the flame. And yeah, let's get into this conversation. Today, there is a new moon in Scorpio, new moon in Sidereal Scorpio. And the message that I got through my study is that of deep transformation. In this video, I will, if you utilize the link in the description, there will be a link for the article. And within the article, there'll be a worksheet. And that worksheet will help you set your intentions. Now, one of the main things that I say about setting intentions, new moon, whenever you set intentions, is very important to do so, because what you'll realize is that things are more likely to happen based upon what you intend. And the reason is because to intend or intent means to stretch out. It means to go outside of your present situation and create something from deep within. And when you do it this way, you're more prone to be successful. Um, Another thing about this worksheet is that it's going to utilize what we talked about in this video and in this article. So for those who are not good with keeping up with their intentions or don't set intentions at all, please utilize the link in the description. There's a free article, and the first link that you'll see will be for the worksheet. Now, this is the most important part of the new moon process, setting your intentions, getting prepared for these next 30 days, because it is completely up to you, right? And, what if the world ends? What if, you know, something crazy happens? Well, that may or may not happen. But ultimately, what if it doesn't happen? What were your intentions? And even deeper, even when the world just collides around you, having an intention is usually set to be your saving grace. There's also some energy that I want to talk about in reference to Anuradha and also the deity or the energy Salibo. And at first, when I was doing the study on this particular new moon, it wasn't so clear. Right? It wasn't crystal clear. It wasn't like making sense. But then I just had to keep studying. I had to keep going deep within myself to figure out what were these symbolisms and what were these transits actually talking about. And I'm not going to talk about anything except the new moon. Be prepared this week for more videos, more content. Now that I have my laptop back, was off really for like a week, but we back now, and we'll talk about some different aspects throughout the week. But I also have some content ideas that I want to bring forth in reference to the Goetia and also Chiron. So thank you guys for being patient with me, as life be lifing. So as I stated earlier, I want to talk about some energy surrounding this new moon, because how I look at this new moon as a very deep transformative place. And when you look at Scorpio, when you look up the tarot card for Scorpio, give me 1 second. Let me make some edits on my side. Okay. The tarot card that rules Scorpio. The tarot card that rules Scorpio is the Death card. The Death card represents change and transformation. Okay. And when you think about this, it's almost kind of like scary. Death is not something that people are, so apt to be prepared for, to talk about, to understand. And therefore, people don't really transit into the waters of Scorpio. It's one thing to talk about Scorpio, but it's a whole nother thing to experience Scorpio. So I have been working on this article for 3 days because at one level, the intellectual reality of understanding this concept it wasn't there. I had to experience it and understand and walk through certain initiations to get this information. So what I'm going to do in this video is walk you through the steps that I took to just simply understand this information, and then also get a sense of where we are in the grand scheme of space and time. Since we are going through a 9-year cycle of complete and total transformation at the deepest spiritual levels, each minor astrological transit creates a different scenario for that change to take place. And this might be one of the greatest places that we all can take change from. And it's so deep and it's so transformational that it's hard to even explain. Because to say deep transformation, you can't enact it. Like, simple example, a caterpillar can't say, I want to be a butterfly and become a butterfly. There's actual steps, there's actual inward redirecting of energy to create the reality of the butterfly. So when we look at today in reference to the grand scheme of things, it's a Sunday, it's a new moon. You ain't got no job. You ain't got shit to do, right? So with all of that being said, can you make this time a time for intention setting, rituals, and setting up what the future is going to look like in a way where these are your intentions? So in the worksheet, I think I'll go back and forth and talk about the worksheet as I talk about the article, because in reference to the article in the worksheet in deep transformation, if you don't do the deep transformation work, it doesn't happen. And one will say, well, how do you do the deep transformation work? First, set up your intentions. Set up what is going to happen over the next 28 days. If you say, I don't know what's going to happen, random things are going to happen, anything can happen, then write that intention down. Because in reality, that is what you'll create. Random things, anything, whatever things. However, if you want to be precise, if you want to be direct, then just simply write it down. And the reason that I want you to do that is because we want to deal with the symbolism of the new moon. And one of the main symbolisms of the new moon is that everything is within you. Everything is within you. But there is a catch to it. And I meant to do a Venn diagram. I was gonna do a video about it, like a little short video, a reel about it later. I still am, but maybe I can come up with a Venn diagram now. External, internal. I wonder if I could do a custom. I want to do it on the spot. Custom Venn diagram. Let's get it. Let's do a custom Venn diagram on the spot. Yeah, let me. Got 3 sets. So we have the external world, the mind, and the spiritual world. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I don't know how to do this. I've written it down on paper, but my handwriting is just too crazy. So it just seemed like it should just be real simple to do a Venn diagram online. But let's just bust it like this. We're going to have to use our full imagination. So in this middle part of the Venn diagram is the mind. On the left side is the external world. On the right side is the spiritual world. When we go within ourselves, we are able to go into our mind, but our mind is not actually going within. Our mind, a lot of times, is just replaying things that are happening on the external world, things that we want to happen on the external world. So, therefore, our mind is just this left circle. And this right circle, in reference into the spiritual world, 99.9% of people don't reference going within as going to God, going to the divine. going to find answers. So, where do people find the answers at? They find the answers in the external world through external teachings. And for a certain level, this works and this feels good. But then there are also answers that your teachers in teaching cannot help you with. This is where spirituality comes in. This is where spiritual development comes in, because it's always the people that have it together that have the most questions. Because in reference to having it together, you've done everything that you were supposed to do. And yet, and still, you still feel empty on the inside because you're not understanding the spiritual world and going within to access the spiritual world. Going within to access the spiritual world for most people is just going within to deal with the mind, to deal with your thoughts, to deal with your emotions, to deal with your beliefs. And all of that is being created in this left hand circle. The mind, interesting enough, gives you the capacity to introspect, to reflect. But the mind, if you do not know that you have access to God via your mind, you won't access it. The same way as a closed door will conceal what is in the house. And you'll never know what's going on into the home, what's going on inside of the home until you open the door. But that is a hard thing for spiritual people because they don't fully comprehend or fully get it. And this is what makes this new moon so powerful, because it gives us the opportunity to have deep transformation, not just reflecting on your thoughts in mental states and emotional states. That can help you to a certain degree, but ultimately, it will not give you the answers. Salibo, a Haitian voodoo goddess energy, which I've been working with over these past 3 days. I was studying it and I wanted to finish this article last night, and I had to put the information into practice. And it was, fairly early, about 7 p.m. No reason for me to want to just shut down, but something said just shut it down. And I was at work. Well, I was at the office rather, and they got these couches at the office. So I got up from my desk and I just laid down on these couches and I just laid down and instituted what I had learned through studying this new moon, through working with Salibo. I was listening to her music. She has like Haitian voodoo music, few songs on YouTube. I was listening to those while I was studying, and the downloads were coming, but something just said go lay down. And when you lay down, don't worry about the bills, don't worry about life, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. How you going to make this happen? How you going to just go deeper into the spiritual world, right? And what makes it simpler for me is that I did the study and I broke down the study. And this is what I'm here to help you guys with. If you're looking for answers, you're looking for answers, where are you going to look for answers at? You're going to look at the external because you don't know any better. But there is a doorway within you that can give you the answers. And if you have never been told this, if you've never understood this, today is the day for you to have deep transformation. Because when we utilize astrology, we're utilizing space and time consciousness. We're understanding where we are. We're in this present reality, and time is marked by astrological positions. The way that we know time is marked by astrological positions is because God is the instrument of the celestials. Men do not create the stars, nor do men have power over their movements, to which we introduce astrology, the study of the stars, to help us get a real sense of space and time. And then also, we never really know what I was listening to Bobby Hemmett yesterday, and he goes through his libations and he references all of these spirits. And I know every single spirit that he say by now. I done worked with and had relationships with and studied damn near every spirit, because there are a certain time and a place to deal with particular spirits. You just don't deal with the same spirit all the time. And you just don't deal with the same spirit for everything. That's like going to your mechanic to get your hair cut. That don't make sense. And a lot of times people say, well, spirits ain't real. I can't see spirits. But you just cussed out your baby daddy yesterday. You gave him a piece of your mind. And a lot of times when you find yourself in vicarious situations that you wouldn't normally do, that is because you have invoked a spirit consciously or unconsciously. And spirits are not bad. The ignorance of spirits make it seem like spirits is bad. Just to say cars is not bad, but the ignorance of how to drive when it's ice outside will show that over 150 accidents happen in Michigan. I seen a nigga slam right into a pole right in front of my house. The streets was pure ice. Now, if you know anything about Detroit, it's always cars driving around. And you might say, where's these people going? I don't know. Have no clue. But it's always cars out driving to and fro here and there. The other day, it was the streets was ice cold, pure ice. Now, people got into accidents. Does that make the ice bad? Does that make the cold weather bad? It was a lot of people would say, man, I hate the ice. I hate the cold weather. But you still could have either not drove at all. Where the hell do y'all niggas be going all the time? Or did like I did. I drove 10 miles an hour so everybody can see me. No, I drove slow and I wasn't fucking around. Drive around, do what you need to do. I'm not about to be slipping and sliding like I'm Trina and Trick Daddy. No, we're not about to do that. And I say all of this to say, if you know how to work a system, the external conditions are not going to affect you. No, they might not be ideal, but if you can get into a space where you know how to operate within a system, you will be successful. So, in working with the Goetia and understanding the Goetia for one, a lot of my spiritual development, I didn't have an understanding of Goetia. Therefore, it didn't make sense to me because all of these goblins and goblins and ghouls and spirits flying around makes you not want to deal with it if you don't actually see the goblin or the ghoul or the spirit. But actually understanding that these are just modalities that are within each and every person, and working with these modalities can help you understand self, then that means that every spirit, every single spirit that can ever be conjured is just a phantasmogram that you create. How you see Oshun is not how I see Oshun. How you see Yemaya is not how I see Yemaya. There is no one concise viewpoint of a spirit. Does that mean we don't need to talk about spirits? No, because if I get mad, I'm going to do something different than when you get mad. Y'all ever see somebody get mad and want to go have sex with somebody? See, when I'm mad, I don't think like that. When I'm mad, I clean up. When I'm stressed out, I grab, like, my first instinct is to start sweeping the floor. And I've noticed myself doing that. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Why are you doing this? It's like a stress response, a trauma response. But that's how I deal with it. So when we talk about spirits and understanding spirits, what will happen is if I explain something, you say, well, I don't explain it like that. And that don't mean you don't know what you're talking about. Or this person is a charlatan. This person ain't real. This person is fake. Why? Because he said it was a spirit and I didn't see the spirit. Because we're talking about our minds and we're talking about the power of our minds, we need to start understanding spirituality in reference to the individual. Because if we're saying we see Yemiya and this person over there is saying I don't see it, then that's on you. Because you probably looking for something outside of yourself to guide you, to help you. And the reality is that that only works but for so far. At a certain point, you're going to have to take yourself to that next step, to that next level. And that's what deep transformation is. Your capabilities, what you can be, you haven't really uncovered it yet. If you go to meditate and you're reflecting on your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions, that's not meditation. That is looking at the external world in your mind, and that's great. It's amazing that you can do that, but you can bring your mind into a deeper portal of understanding. You can go deeper beyond your thoughts and your emotions and go to a place where there is just everything opened up for you, every answer. So earlier this week, we did a video called 2 equals 0 or 0 equals 2. And what this means is that your mind, which is 0, right? What do I mean by your mind is 0? Can you go to the store and buy a mind? Yes or no? Does the mind have dimensions? Like, does the mind have a size? 2 inches by 2 inches? How much does the mind weigh? Right? These questions are 0. The dimensions of the mind are 0. Can you buy a mind? No. But now answer this question. Is the mind real? Yes or no? Can you fathom your mind? Do you have representation of what your mind is? Yes or no? Do you have you ever said, "Man, I lost my mind"? That answer is yes, but the mind is dualistic within itself. The mind is focused on the external world, the jobs, the bills, the houses, the kids, whatever. But the mind has the opportunity, the mind has the capability to go deep into the spiritual world. And when we think about the spiritual world, we have to begin to think about the spiritual world as the place called heaven, where all of our answers are granted. Everything we need, we receive. The reason that we have to think about this is because when we start wanting heaven to be on earth, we don't get what we want. And therefore, our mode for being spiritual, it lessens a little bit because we truly don't believe and know in the spirit. We're relying on somebody, a class, right? A class, a course, something outside of us to be the thing. And you know what happens? Niggas get paid. You become more broke, you have less money, and you sitting there scratching your head. All knowledge is good for what it's good for, but it means absolutely nothing if you don't really conceptualize the power of your mind to observe heaven, to have access to heaven. So when we look at this card or this energy, the new moon is in the second decan of Scorpio. The card of this decan is pleasure. So, what is pleasure in this aspect? What is the true meaning of pleasure? Because at one level, when we're studying this, we're studying Scorpio. If you've ever listened to my channel, heard me talk about things, especially Scorpio, you would know that Scorpio rules the sexual organs. So if Scorpio rules the sexual organs and we talking about pleasure, you put two and two together, then that is the pleasure that we're looking for, a sexual pleasure. So many times people want so many things, they end up getting it and they still want different or more shit. Have you ever been with somebody, or maybe you're this person and this person is saying, man, I want X, Y, and Z, and you see that person get XYZ or you receive XYZ and you see it not be the thing, you like, well, how do you feel now that you got XYZ? And they like, I mean, I feel great, but I know it's not the end. I know that it's probably another level. You know how bad you wanted something on the external, got it, and it didn't satisfy what you were looking for? What is pleasure then? Pleasure from the external world is always fleeting. It's never there. If you had the best sex in the world, how long is it going to last? How long does the best sex in the world last? I don't know why I can be so resistant to meditating. It's literally sitting there doing nothing, listening, building a muscle. I guess I got to do the reps. It's hard to meditate if, let's bring up the Venn diagram again. If your concept of meditation is external world, so this is the external world, this is the spiritual world or heaven, your mind is in the middle. Meditation is going into heaven. Is a door there though. If you don't open up this door, that's like saying I got to get the reps up to get into the spiritual world, but I never open the door. Why? Because opening the door is hard? No. Most people don't know that there's a door there. So if you don't realize that there is a door there, then your mind is only connected to the external world. So as many reps as you take, you will never access heaven because you don't think that you can get there. All you doing is sitting in your thoughts and emotions. And you know what you start to think? You said, man, I can do something else with this shit. Like it's nothing else for me to do. Like, I might as well stop sitting here looking dumb and go back to work or watch some TV, watch some Netflix. The key to this deep transformation is that you have access to heaven. But regardless of what you do, the deepest pleasures in the world is only going to last you 20 minutes at best. So this is not the pleasure that they're talking about if we're talking about a 20-minute nut bust. We're talking about pleasure forever. And that's the scary part right there. Imagine, and that's the hard part about having some good sex. It don't last in the physical. That person that you had the great sex with, they gone somewhere, going up yonder, wherever the case may be, and you just sitting there with the memory. And then a lot of times people sit with thoughts and emotions, and they just like, I want to get rid of this thought and emotion. I can't stop thinking about the thing. It's bothering me. Have your thoughts and emotions ever bothered you? And what do? You just sit with it because you don't know, you don't have the knowledge base to understand that heaven is an access point. You can get there through the modality of your mind, right? This is the key. And I might say it more than once, but I'm trying to make a point. So the Six of Cups rules the second deacon of Scorpio, but in the Voodoo Tarot deck, the Six of Congo or the Six of Cups has a specific energy and deity associated with it. It's actually three different goddesses: Shalibo, Nuvavo, and Dani. I've studied Dani before. I've never studied Nuvavo, and I've never studied Shalibo because when I'm looking at this, I don't know French. I'm not a Haitian voodooist. So to me, these are just letters and words. But for some reason, I keyed in onto Shalibo, or maybe Shalibo keyed into me, and I identified the goddess and the energy surrounding Shalibo. And so I said, let's do a quick study. So Salibo, in his book Ecstatic Voyager, a German scholar, Athenius Kircher, describes the sun as populated with angels of fire swimming in seas of light around a volcano. Now, I wonder if we can see a live picture of the sun. Obviously not. But I remember seeing images of the sun and like the flares. I don't know where I would find videos like that from now, but I just remember seeing like the sun and there'll be flares just popping off the sun. And I always wonder like what is going on with this goddamn sun? Like what is it going through? It's just a bunch of volcanoes just exploding on top of each other. So when I read about Salibo, talking about the sun populated with angels of fire swimming in seas of light around the volcano. And then you have angels, but you also have angles. Angles of what? Angles of light on the earth. So it's angels of light
but it's also the angle of light is the angle at which the sunlight hits the earth's surface. But it's also angels of light. So, angels of light refers to the idea of benevolent beings, often considered to be human individuals who embody positive qualities and act as instruments of good in the world. And in the spiritual community, I find that is very like distasteful. I'm not with it. People will be like, man, I ain't into that light working shit. I don't deal with that light working. I'm in the darkness or whatever the case may be. And it's like, I understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to be provocative, but in reference to dealing with a light worker versus dealing with a dark worker, I don't have that time and energy to be wasting with somebody or some dark shit with me. Be surrounded by light. Understand light being knowledge and information that comes from within you based upon the world that you live in. So we're dealing with a new moon. A new moon is when the sun and the moon are conjunct. The sun is the source of light on this planet. The source of light is also the source of life. So without the sun, we don't have light, we don't have life, and we don't have information. Salibo is the angel who bathes in the fires of the sun. Now, we have to be very clear with this stuff because we get confused. If we're saying Salibo bathes in the fire of the sun, we might be looking up in the sky. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Tifereth. Tiferet is a Hebrew word that relates to the sun. One's in the chat if you can see that. Tiferet is a Hebrew word that relates to the sun and is the central part of the lower face of the tree of life. If you do find yourself angry, the spirit that you can work with is your soul. The spirit that you can work with is your soul. Because what happens with humans is that we don't understand that we are here for salvation. Salvation, who gives you salvation? Jesus gives you salvation. But what is Jesus? Is it a white man with a long, stringy hair and a blonde beard? Jesus is the soul of each and every one, each and every individual. This is why Jesus saves. So when you look up the word salvation, salvation is the saving of the soul. When you want to get out of a negative situation, when you want to get out of a negative temperament, when you want to get out of all of the shit that is binding you, you have to go deep within yourself and deal with your soul. Because if you don't, you will be dealing with some shit to the external of you and it don't give a fuck about you. Mainly because it got its own shit to deal with. So what happens is you go within yourself, you find a solution, then you go external. The deliverance from the power of sin and the admission to eternal bliss. So what does this mean? The admission to eternal bliss. This goes back to the Venn diagram. On one side, you have the external world. On this side, you have heaven. In the middle, you have the mind, because the mind has access to the external world. The mind has access to heaven or eternal bliss. Salvation or recovering of your soul gives you admission to eternal bliss. You have to know that you can save yourself, therefore you will get to work. If you think that I'm going to save you, if you think that the nigga down the block is going to save you, if you think that any human being on this earth is going to save you, you going to have a long ride, bro. Sis, fam, tribe. We have to learn how to save ourselves. And this is what Salibo was actually teaching me. Because at first, like I said, the conversation was very confusing in trying to study it until you factor in the Hebrew. Salibo bathes in the fires of the sun. Okay. Tifereth is a Hebrew word that relates to the sun. What is the card that the card, excuse me, hit the wrong button. The card that we're focusing on for this new moon is the Six of Cups. This, what number connects to Tifereth? Tifereth is the sixth Sephirah. So let's bring it back home. Where the sixth Sephirah is beauty. The sun represents Tifereth. Tifereth, the sun, beauty, is all representing one thing and one concept. An angle or an angel of light is representing a consciousness that we all have access to. And another way that you can identify this is your heart. So she is a spirit of fresh water in the feminine aspect of the sun. Salibo is an esoteric loa of magic and sacred sexuality. So magic and sacred sexuality is not that up and down, late night, you up text type of sex. It's not even sex at all, the more that I study it. Has nothing to do with sex. It's more to do with understanding your relationship to that inner goddess. When you go into deep meditation, in deep trance, what you will get in contact with is a consciousness of a goddess that is surrounded in fire. And she will talk to you and she will help you. Her name is Salibo, if you want a name, but you will have this experience if you get outside of your mind. This has happened to me one time. One time I was in a deep meditation in a trance. It was the first time I ever tried LSD, and I was listening to my music in my headphones. And I was listening to my music and I got caught in the trance of it all. I just stopped thinking and got into such a deep spiritual trance that this woman was flying in pure fire in my mind. And she told me, never forget. Don't ever forget where you come from. Mind you, I was living in a shack, you know. I was living in Columbus, Ohio with nothing, you know, and just having a very tough time in life. And in this space, I was listening to my music in a deep meditation. I was in the driveway in my car that didn't run. I'm just sitting there listening to music. And then I just went somewhere else. That's meditation. Meditation requires you to let go of every emotion and every thought, every condition that makes you human has to be absolved and washed away. It's easy to do with LSD psychedelics. It's harder to do, not impossible, because I've been into deep trances with nothing, right? No music, no headphones, no nothing. Just last night, I went into deep trance, right? But it's just a mentality. The mentality is very simple. Let it all go. That's why Salibo is a goddess of purification. Salibo is not syncretized to a saint. Instead, the biblical image to what she is compared is from the book of Revelation, the woman cloaked in the sun. So if you watch this channel at all, you know me and Revelation got a thing going on. That's like my 15th baby mama, Revelation. So what does Revelation chapter 12 talk about? Revelation chapter 12 talks about the woman and the dragon. So once again, we know who this woman is. Salibo, Pombagira are liminal deities. And I know you're asking, what is a liminal deity? A liminal deity are gods and goddesses who oversee transitions, such as the beginning of the day or the change from old to the new. They are known as crossers of boundaries. You ain't fooling nobody. You might fool some people. You for sure ain't fooling me. The boundary that you need to cross is in heaven. Because John is writing Revelation. He doesn't say, I died and I went to heaven. No, he starts the sentence off with, a great sign appeared in heaven. So that sentence, very subtle, but very clear in saying that heaven is a mental state. Once in the chat, if you don't see, this is the beginning of the chapter. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. So John is not dead. John is alive. If you ask me, John got some of them psychedelics, took a couple mushrooms, some DMT, some ergot, something, and my man's just tripping balls. But he tripping balls and it's making sense. So he writing it down. He's journaling. When John says that a great sign appeared in heaven, he's just explaining that same scenario that I explained when I was listening to music. Heaven is the part of your mind that you do not have access to right now. You can if you just open the door, but you don't want to open the door because the external world is so ubiquitous. It is so inundating. It is so overwhelming. You got beans, greens, tomatoes, lambs, hams, you name it, going on in the external world. You got baby daddies, baby mamas, jack boys, stick up boys, Kia boys, boys in the hood. You got all of this shit in the external world. And when we have the conversation, a lot of times people only want to talk about what's happening in the external world. For a person like me, it's hard to exist in this universe when I have actually been to heaven and I'm not dead. I'm telling y'all, I've been there. I've been in this whole different dimension of space and time where somebody is talking to me. And not only is somebody talking to me, I feel the heat of this woman, the flames of her heat in my body, almost to, you walk up into some fire and you feel that flame, or the sun is beating down on you. I felt that in meditation. So when we read Revelations, we're not decoding it, and we're not making any real connection. John experienced the same thing I experienced. He felt a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon, under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. Right? What does this represent? This sentence represents external teachers and external teachings. The woman is naked, but she is clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. The 12 stars are the 12 zodiacs. The sun represents external teachers. The moon represents external teachings. External teachers are self-explanatory. People who are spiritualists, helping people with their spiritual work, and that's great. That's amazing. That's very admirable. And then you have the teachings, which are the books, the studies, the understandings of the studies, the commentary on the studies. But we have to begin to understand that teachers and teachings are very limited. Somebody might ask me for a reading, but they got a Percocet addiction. I can tell them all of the hot shit that the stars is saying. But if they not telling me they got a Percocet addiction, then everything I'm saying is a waste of time. I might be the greatest teacher ever, but it has nothing. It doesn't matter if you go and do Percocets after the reading is over. If you a deviant person, the external teacher in the teachings, if not removing your deviancies, is only going to just aid and abet in your destruction. Because what you'll then do is say, well, I've got taught under this course that I paid $3,000 for, so I must be smarter or more advanced because I'm taking this course. When you talk about psychedelics, you don't got to do nothing but take them. Y'all got to hear what I'm saying. Taking them. Whatever happens when you take them, it's okay. I don't care if them bitches whoop your ass and you feel like you going crazy. That's what it need to do. It's a mushroom strain called golden teachers. Because it's going to teach. It's nothing really a person can say about psychedelic. When I took LSD, I just took it. And then like 30 minutes in, I'm like, fuck, I should have prepared or something. Cause now the universes are colliding and coming in on themselves. I don't even have left from right, up and down. My senses are fried at this point. But you get over it. You come back to normal. And usually you have a transformative experience that your soul is trying to teach you. Your soul is trying to raise you up and guide you. The problem with this world, the way that it's set up, niggas wake up. I wake up and I know I can't help nobody do shit more than they want to do some shit. I don't even drive myself crazy in trying to be a savior for people, because if you don't figure it out within yourself, you gonna be mad at me. You know how many times I've been doing this shit and people is mad at me for whatever the fuck I'm doing? Throughout my spiritual career, throughout the time that I've been a spiritual professional, it usually ends up to somebody being mad or feeling like I can't supply them with what they need. And for years, I've been saying I can't help you do shit anyways. I'm just trying to direct you to your soul. I'm not trying to clothe you with the sun and the moon and all of this shit. I want you to actually use these as tools, which I'm doing to get closer to doing all of this study. It pulled me into a deep meditation. And then having the conversation that hopefully this conversation that I'm having with you, you can go into a deep meditation and not reflecting on your mind and your external world, but going deep into accessing heaven. Because heaven is right now. Heaven is not tomorrow. Heaven is not in the future. Heaven is right here and you can access it. All you have to do is open up the door. And in chapter 12, verse 2, it goes to say she was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. So let's go back to verse 1. How did she get pregnant? And why are we talking about Scorpio without talking about Scorpio? A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars in her head. Don't even say. She just ends up pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. What is this? What is this? What is this verse talking about? Very occult, very, very like it's like a very direct message, a message that we all understand, but many people don't really talk about it because I guess it's taboo. But do you know that as a woman, you can have sex with the sun? When we talk about feminine energy in reference to the Bible, we're not talking about women per se. We're talking about heaven. We're talking about our mind being receptive. And when our mind is receptive to the external things, the sun and the moon, the 12 stars in the head, this is representing external. What we'll do is we'll get pregnant with the emotions and thoughts of what somebody is teaching. In the bare bones of what I'm saying, if you don't take nothing from this conversation, deal with your soul, go beyond your thoughts, go beyond your emotions, don't factor them in. Because when if you're listening to anything else that I'm saying outside of this, and you're saying, well, Hood said that I should, go here, do this, you will get pregnant and you will, well, pun intended, you will cry out in pain as you're about to give birth, meaning everything you receive mentally, you bring it to life. Everything you receive mentally. So my goal and my hope is that you go listen to this article, listen to this video, look at the article, first link in the description, the first link before you even read anything, right? You don't even got to read shit in the article. Click the link, download the worksheet, and start writing your intentions. Organize your ritual for the new moon. Get in tune with your soul. I can't charge you for that. I can't hold you accountable for this. This is something that you need to do deep within yourself. And this is a deep spiritual message because a lot of times people is trying to make you think that they know the answers for you and they don't know nothing about you. They can only assume in reference to the things that you need to do. You need to go within yourself. This is why in verse 3 it says that another sign appeared in heaven. It was an enormous red dragon. So, real quick, you got to do cross references for this. Red dragon is nothing but Kundalini. What is Kundalini? Kundalini refers to the dormant power or energy present in every human being, lying like a coiled serpent in the etheric body at the base of the spine. The coiled serpent has been biding its time for ages, waiting for the day when the soul would begin to take charge of its rightful domain. The personality or the combination of the physical, astral, and mental bodies. So the personality, the physical, the astral, and the mental is under Kundalini. Kundalini has to be activated. So once again, when we're reading the Bible about an enormous red dragon, you will have Christian people actually trying to figure out about an enormous red dragon in real life. An enormous red dragon with 7 heads. Once again, all you have to do is quick research and to know that it's talking about. Find a good place to start. It resides coiled serpent like in the sacral chakra or will at the base of the spine, which in turn is a relay station for similarly coiled up energy in the center of the earth. Itself is a storehouse of solar kundalini. Solar just means sun. Okay, this sun energy, this Tifereth energy is all within you, but you need to access it in the storehouse. How do you get into a storehouse? You must open the door. Opening a door, knowing that a door is there, and actually, like, it's so simple, anybody can do it. You don't need anybody to teach you how to activate Kundalini. All you have to do is walk through the door. How do I walk through the door, Hood? I do not factor my emotions, my thoughts, and feelings when I am meditating. I don't care how I feel, what I'm thinking about, what's going on in my life. Anything that's happening in earth is not real. I'm not factoring it in. This is why in the Bible verse it says a sign appeared in heaven. The sign did not appear on earth. So to factor in Kundalini in your chakras, you have to let the world go. One's in the chat if that makes sense. I don't care what you're trying to build for yourself, manifest for yourself, business you trying to start. All of that shit is cool, but you got to go within sometimes and not factor that shit in at all. When fully aroused, either by yoga or a natural result of evolutionary progress, Kundalini flows up an etheric canal in the spinal cord called the Sushumna Nadi, passing through each other chakras on its journey. As it passes through the spinal centers in which the chakras arise, some of its force flows down the axes of the funnel, each vivifying it occulti occultly, and thereby awakening the individual to self-conscious awareness in the superphysical worlds. So let's go over that again. Vivifying it occultly, meaning that it is occult means hidden. Vivifying means to create life. The life that you are creating is on the on the inside, awakening the individual to self-conscious awareness. Self-conscious awareness is not saying, "Damn, I feel bad. Damn, I want this. Damn, I am I ever going to find a manhood? Am I ever going to find a man? Am I ever going to get rich? Am I ever? Fuck all of that shit. It does not matter. It don't matter. And if you are a fuck up and you Mr. Can't get right, fuck it. Cause when you activate your kundalini, when you activate your chakras, you are transforming it into a whole nother being. You know how many how many caterpillars talk shit about butterflies? You see that motherfucking butterfly the other day? Yeah. You know that motherfucker was a hoe when he was a caterpillar, right? Yeah. Ask him how many bodies he got while he up there flying around looking all beautiful and shit. I remember you was a thought looking as like, come on, like if you are trying to transform, you can't even be worried about what a motherfucker say or how a motherfucker feel. But what's going to happen? In reference, I've been doing this shit for a long, long time. Niggas ain't gonna never be shit if they mama don't approve of it, if they girl don't approve of it, if they family don't approve of it. Yeah, hood, I'm into the spiritual, but my family don't approve of it, so I'ma just, stop being spiritual, hood. Don't nobody approve of me meditating, hood. They think I'm crazy. So, all right, but we talking about going within yourself. I don't give a hell about what people think about you. How you feel about other people. We are talking about what happens in heaven. Do niggas talk about what happened on the news all damn day, right? You'll never hear about what happened between Archangel Michael and Raphael last night. Them niggas got into a fight. You seen that thunder happening. Yeah, Michael and Raphael, them niggas do not get along. Meaning that human beings have no idea what's going on in heaven, but heaven, in a sense, is within us. This is why it's in the text. So it is a really, really interesting time in reference to this new moon and referencing how we can begin to move forward through pleasure. Because last time I checked, we thought pleasure was coming through relationships in that up and down missionary, only to find out that pleasure don't come from relationships. It don't come from relationships. And if it do come from relationships, what do we know about it? It is very fleeting. Now you got to actually deal with that nigga. One's in the chat. Now you got to look at that nigga in the face every day. You got to see his beard looking scraggly. You got to see them doodle streaks in his drawers. You got to see him snoring every night. You got to start really looking at that nigga. And it's not real pleasurable, is it? To whereas, and a lot of women get discouraged when the man don't reach their fantasy threshold. But what if I was to tell you that your fantasy threshold is to be found within you? Because if you are able to open the door to true spiritual awareness, activate your kundalini through deep meditation, deep transformation work, making sure that you journal this new moon, making sure that you meditate this new moon, making sure that you have a ritual in place for this new moon, then pleasure is sustaining and long term when it comes from the soul. To know that you can always find the answers within yourself, that is the pleasure that we're going for. We're not going for the facts of, you actually having to deal with this nigga on a day-to-day basis. Like, you thought he was so handsome and so cute, but you did not know that every time he ejaculates, he cry a little bit and get to a fetal position. How you gonna reconcile that with everybody that you done told this was a great man and this was the best man you ever had, and he crying in a fetal position? That's not pleasure. True pleasure comes from within and accessing heaven, kundalini, them seven chakras, right? Shilabo is the entity and the energy I want to introduce you to if you never heard of her. She's an African diasporic goddess that can help you with purification rites, transformation rites, and she is a liminal deity. If you over here and you trying to get over here, utilize her energy within yourself and find her within yourself. She is a fire laden goddess made of pure fire, of pure heat, and pure information. And she will tell you what you need to know. When she told me 10 years ago to don't forget where I came from, it was very poignant. Because at the time that I was in Columbus, I thought that I would be in that situation forever. I thought that the way that shit was, I thought I was cursed. And I still was on my spiritual journey, but it wasn't adding up at all. It never was adding up at all. But I was still making my little steps. I knew I was growing spiritually, but it didn't show up on the external world at all. When she told me, don't forget, I went into the house, and my girl at the time, I just went in there crying like, we're not alone. We have help. It's going to be okay. We going to be all right. And she was looking at me like, nigga, what the fuck is you talking about? I never forget the way that she was looking at me, because at that moment I realized that the goddess was talking to me. She wasn't talking to her. So when we talk about spiritual work and we getting our downloads and we're getting our transformations, we will hope that it would transfer over to our partner, but guess what? It doesn't. Meaning that if your partner isn't trying to do the work for themselves, you a spiritual person and your partner just work a 9 to 5 every day and don't never meditate and never want to find the deeper mysteries to life. Guess what, sis? Guess what, bro? You wasting a lot. You making a big motherfucking mistake. It and being in this place for a long time, people be married, boyfriend, girlfriend, you name it. That shit don't work out. That shit don't ever work out. And when I first came into this, motherfuckers would be having a conversation with me. Yeah, I meditate. I want to have knowledge of self, but my partner, he's not into this. He calls me crazy. Yeah, that shit is a motherfucking epic fail. Yeah, man, I'm really into knowledge of self, but my girl, she just be wanting to go out and kick it and have fun. Listen, my bro, that's an epic fail. You need to let it go. At a certain point in this spiritual game, over this next 9 years, you're going to have to really make some real life decisions on if you want to activate or you just want to masturbate. Okay, you're gonna have to really come up to that conclusion of your life, because you can say, well, I just really want this and I just really want that, and I'm trying to start this and I'm trying to start that, and all of that is well and good, but at the end of it all, we are all going to be transitioned into the afterlife. However it looks for you, it might look different from other people, but the reality is we will not be inhabiting these bodies forever. So your ability to access something real within your time of being down here is finite. You don't have it forever. And if you get into a relationship and your relationship consists of making this stranger happy and you getting off of your spiritual path, you gonna make a mistake. And guess what? You got a lot of pride, you got a lot of ego. So what you gonna do? You gonna try to make it work. You gonna force it, try to make it work, try to make it work, try to make it work, force it, try to make it work, force it, try to make it work, force it, try to make it work. And God is saying, damn, I got this cutie right here for you that's going to make it easy for you. I got this man right here for you that's going to make it easy for you. But if you keep trying and making it work with the wrong person, that's the opposite of pleasure. That's the opposite of the energy. And the reason that you're not going to meditate and go deep within yourself, set up the ritual that you want to today, do the spiritual work that you want to, is because you got people in your life that is going to do nothing but distract you and deal with your energy in a fucked up way. If you can't say, I'm doing a ritual today, I'm doing some spiritual work today. Oh man, it's Sunday. Why are you doing that? You can start to see shit for you should start to see the sugar from the shit. Okay? So, really just understanding this concept, man. The concept of heaven and hell not being points of times to which exists in the future when you transition out the body, but heaven being a state of mind that you can access right now through deep meditation and transformation work, utilizing the energy of salibo, doing your own due diligence. I wish I was a Haitian voodooist, right? I wish I knew a Haitian voodooist that can ordain a ritual to salibo, because I'll be right there. But I'm not. So I gotta make my own rituals. I gotta do my own work. And I'm cool with that. But I'm saying this to anybody who just so happen to be listening to this and got a Haitian babalao or have traditions in Haitian magic and voodoo. This is the time to do a ritual. This is the time to bring out those germs, start dancing, and go deep within yourself. Like, just go so deep within yourself that this world, hell, which represents the physical, which represents the masculine, is not the predominant energy. And people will look at Haitians and say, y'all live in the worst country, y'all have the most da 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 da. And what is voodoo? What is that? See, what people don't understand is the trance of the drums and the liquors and the chants and the dancing that creates an altered state of consciousness outside of this one. Because you can, play in a goddamn sandbox all damn day and talk about I had fun at the park. No, the fuck you didn't. You just sat in the sandbox. That's an analogy for just being in the external world. Now, within this conversation, I cannot conjure up heaven for you. I can give you examples. I can give you the concepts. I can give you the links on the article. There are links to stuff you can do your own due diligence. I've given you a worksheet to where you can organize a ritual. You can take a spiritual bath. If you have if you able to take a bath tonight. Some people can't even take a bath for whatever situation. But I'm just giving, if you can't take a bath or whatever, take a shower. You can't take a shower, go to the river. Can't go to the river, go to a pond. Right? And go to somewhere you've never been, do something that you never did to get into the aspect of heaven. Because heaven represents uncharted territory that your mind has access to, that can give you all of the answers that you need right now. But if you go into reference the material world, it's going to give you nothing but trials and tribulations, lace fronts, makeup, lashes, BBL, gray sweatpants, Air Force Ones, Nike Techs, all of this shit that, is just a trial and a tribulation. And we just utilizing our mind and our spiritual energy, just wasting it. Take some of that energy and direct it within and utilize this time to really set your intentions, really see the transformation that God has for you. Really see the transformation that Source has from you. Go under a deep trance, listen to a binaural beat, and just sit in a chair and relax your body and don't worry about the future. Go so deep within yourself that you begin to see the answers formulate for you, and then set your intention and then move forward. In the ways for which you move forward with this proper energy, you will become like a missile. You will become like the world's sharpest sword. Nothing will be able to hold you back. Nothing will be able to stop you. Because when Source gives you something, when God gives you something, nobody can take it from you. But we already know, because we've already done grown and developed within our spiritual development. It's only when you get to a certain point where a snake has to shed its skin. The snake don't shed its skin one time and say, "Man, I shedded my skin 5 years ago." No, the snake sheds his skin, I think, every year. I don't want to start lying. When do snakes shed skin? Snakes shed their skin when it's old, damaged, or no longer fits, and the frequency depends on several factors. Okay, I didn't know that. Now I know, right? So, hey, if everything is everything and everything is good, and you don't got nothing to complain about, and you don't want nothing to change, then keep it going like it's going. Like, why would you even be even worried about it? But in reference to spirituality, in reference to spiritual development, we are trying to heal. Heal indicates some wound that needs to be put together. So, in reference to me, I've healed certain areas of my life. I used to smoke Newports back to back. I used to smoke a pack a day. And now, I can't even imagine smoking. I wouldn't even hit a cigarette. I hate smelling a cigarette. It's been so long since I even smelt a cigarette. That shit it ain't even real to me. So I know I've healed certain aspects of my life, but I know that I'm not done healing. One's in the chat. One's in the chat if you've healed, but you also know you're not done healing. Because we can get caught up in our previous healings. I've written books before, kiss my ass. No, that's not the energy of a new moon in Scorpio. It is representing a snake shedding its skin, the skin that needs to be shed. Healing in the areas where you need to be healed. And I'm perfectly fine with that because I know that I need to heal Kyrie. And I know that you need to heal you. So I'm not gonna get on this damn YouTube and say, yeah, I see people do it. It makes sense. When you're trying to, procure the bottom line to be a fucking guru, to be an ascended master, to help everybody be everything that they want. But it's a lie. Because a nigga can come to my class and learn some shit, leave my class and smoke crack rock. Does that make me a charlatan? Did that make my message less poignant? Or motherfuckers just gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do? So who the fuck am I supposed to take care of? You or me? So really just wanted to elucidate some of those points. Like I said, I will do a shorter, real short explaining the mind, the external world, spiritual world, masculine, feminine, break that whole down with some Venn diagrams. Um, just have to utilize my wife to do the writing for me. My handwriting is crazy. But stay tuned for that video. A lot of things is going to be changing on this channel with all of that being said, not in a bad way, not in a negative way, but I really want to provide value and I really want to talk about real world things and, talk about the world. It's a lot of stuff that is happening in the world that can be talked about that, where we can really help each other and really get to another level. I would hate to be on the internet talking and talking and talking while other people is getting rich and rich and rich and, having major transformations. And I'm paying attention to it. I'm tapped in, you know, and I'm just going to share that more often. And like I said, I'm a human being. I have real struggles. I have real shit that I'll be going through. And, with all of that being said, through the transformation, through the changes, it's all good. Through the trials, through the tribulation, it's all good because if you are releasing, if you are letting go, if you are speaking and saying what your truth is, you're not responsible for how the world takes it, right? You're only responsible for your mental health, your emotional health. And with all that being said, I'm just moving more into my truth, more into what I feel is going to be, some life changing work. Over these next 9 years, like I said, these next 9 years are going to be critical and crucial for the overall understanding of a large percentage of people. Like, we are going through a great transformation, a great spiritual awakening. And the reality of the spiritual awakening is that there are no more scams, right? There are no more charlatans. There are no more fakeness. It can only get realer and realer and realer and realer. And with the spirituality becoming real, what you'll see is that the people who are talking about spirituality, is not to say that they were fake, but spirituality is not to be talked about entirely. Like if I give you a menu and I say we serving lambs, short back ribs, fried chicken, green beans, lima beans, you know what I mean? Desserts, banana pie, some shit like that. And then I just take the menu from you and just leave, you gonna feel like, damn, I'm hungry. This nigga just told me everything that he was about to serve and he ain't give me shit. That's what spirituality is, unless you do spirituality, unless you understand the ways for which you can open the doors within you, have real live conversations, real live transformation. And you can't be mad at nobody. You can't call it nobody, nothing, no charlatan, no fake spiritualist, nothing. Because why the fuck didn't you meditate? Why didn't the fuck you let go of what you was going through so you can find the answers within yourself? How is motherfucker supposed to help you and you can't even help yourself? How's people supposed to help you and you can't help nobody? Because you haven't understood the goddess within yourself, the God within yourself. And so this energy is really requiring us to understand that whatever we've been through, whatever we've gone through in 2024, 2024 was a rough year. One's in the chat, or maybe it was just me. One's in the chat of 2024 was kind of rough. If we and this is the last, well, no, not the last new moon. We'll have another one on the 28th, 28th, 29th of December. But in general, give or take, this is one of the last new moons of the year. And we can begin to understand that whatever we have been through, did it break you? So that brings us into the understanding of a lotus flower. Let's look at a lotus flower and see if we can understand. Let's talk about this real quick, because this is in reference to Anuradha Nakshatra, which is, all of these conversations and concepts lead to the same thing. So if you want a full in depth of the Anuradha Nakshatra, utilize the link in the description. I'm gonna just give the Cliff Notes version of it, which is ruled by the lotus, and there's a reason the lotus flower blooms in muddy water. So you can say 2024 was a rough year. But we also have to understand that the lotus flower grows out of the mud. In Lotus Sutra, chapter 15, it reads, the lotus flower is unsoiled by worldly things. It doesn't say that it ignores it. It doesn't say that it's not aware of the worldly things. What it says is that is unsoiled, meaning that the lotus grows out of the mud perfect, and not letting the mud say, yes, I'm a muddy lotus. No. When we emerge in 2025 in reference to this 2024 energy, please believe people are going to be like, damn, you had it easy. You just manifested overnight. This shit was just simple. This shit, you just made it seem like it was just so simple, huh? And you like, well, I actually figured some things out. I stopped looking externally for answers, and I started looking internally for answers, and I didn't, and it's not hard. You don't need to pay no money to go within yourself. You don't need to sit back and just be watching TV or worried about what somebody is talking about or arguing with your baby mama or your baby daddy all day. If that motherfucker is mad, let them be mad and start going deep within yourself for the answers. When you start going deep within for yourself for the answers, what you'll also notice is that, shit will start happening to people that have they negative, that feel negative towards you. Because when you are on the path, you are likened to a sword. And when people run up to a sword, you could just be walking, your sword could just be up. You could just be holding your sword. People start running up to you real fast and they just impale themselves. Like, damn, oh, like, yeah, don't be running up on me like that. I'm protected. When you are on your path, you are protected. And a lot of times you don't even know where this shit is headed. When I was in my spiritual development phase, it was entities and energies that don't even exist no more, because they were trying to bring me hell. But I would just meditate, burn my herbs, be in my own little world, and motherfuckers started dropping like flies. I didn't have to do nothing. A lot of times, I be wanting to go to jail. I be wanting to go to goddamn the police and tell them, man, y'all sure y'all ain't got no indictment on me? Like, no, we ain't got no evidence. You ain't killed nobody. I sure feel like I did. I was burning these herbs and this motherfucker just dropped dead. You sure I ain't? Y'all sure? Yeah, we can't arrest you for burning herbs, Kyrie. All right. Real talk. No cap. It ain't saying that I want something bad to happen, but I want peace. And if you want peace and somebody disrupting your peace, they're going to get dealt with. But this is what I'm talking about, going deep within, accessing heaven right now. Heaven don't come when you die. The answers is right now. What you need to do is right now. You don't have to wait until next week to have a good life. You can start living a good life by, for one, doing the ritual, doing the journaling, getting so clear. And, if you are a meditator, a good meditator, congratulations. You the greatest person on earth. But if you like me and you suck at meditating, I'll meditate for 10 minutes and start thinking about, damn, did I lock the door? What if somebody about to break in? Damn, I don't want him to catch me slipping. I'm sitting here meditating. He just can, have go crazy on me. So let me stop this meditating and go lock the door. Oh shit, man, I'm hungry. Let me go cook me some noodles. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna meditate after I cook me some noodles, and just never get back to the meditation. For me, and this is just not something that I'm saying like for any, like at a certain point, just having the knowledge of psychedelics, learning how to grow psilocybin, things of that nature, which anybody, well, depending on your state, it is still legal to grow it in some states, but I'm in Michigan. Is decriminalized, so it's different here. But more, it's decriminalized to the point where if you live in Michigan, you can grow mushrooms for your own personal benefit and have as much mushrooms as you want to, and utilize it to meditate, to get clearer and get into the different aspects of your meditation. How do you meditate effectively under psychedelics? For me, it's with music, right? If I don't have music, then it's kind of overwhelming, or I'm just more anxious than anything, and I'm just existing. But if I want to meditate under psychedelics, I will listen to my music, I'll listen to Prince, or I'll listen to Funkadelic. But everybody have their own particular musical taste. That's just my go-tos. And my music, just because it's my voice and it's my magic. So a lot of times I might, like, it's real, like when I'm playing music for my wife, and it's like I'm writing the songs about her, but I didn't even know she existed. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times, and it's like a lot of these songs, it's just describing her to a T, right? And I didn't even know she existed. So that's a lot of times, like when I'm making music, I know it's a magic component to it. Um, it could work for you, but I would say my advice is if you musically inclined a little bit, right? If you can make music a little bit, you have some type of concept of making music, go to Band Lab, you can upload instrumentals, make your own music. If you can make your own beats, that's even better. And I know this is going to be a small percentage of people, but if you are musically inclined, I suggest you make music for your meditations, okay? And if there's artists that you feel like, man, this motherfucker speaking for me, speaking to me, utilize that music for meditation. What that's going to do is going to lower your senses and allow you to get deeper into trance, deeper into altered states of consciousness. But you don't listen to it and move around and clean up and wash the dishes, wash the clothes. No, you got to get into a state of being, a state of relaxation with the music to then send you to that deeper place. And once again, it's not easy to, meditate if you suck at meditating, right? But it is easy to get into the spiritual world. It happens just like that. It's just opening a door. All of this energy is happening right now inside of you, but you just don't have access to it. So my hopes and my goals and my dreams is for the individual to go within themselves to find that perfect part of yourself that is happening right now, right? So let's read real quick. In general, Buddhism is regarded as a teaching of transcending the secular realm. This is because it is exposed to freeing oneself from the real world, which is shrouded by the darkness of ignorance and earthly desires. It is filled with suffering. But far from removing himself from the world, the Bodhisattva, the leader of the Bodhisattvas of earth, is entrusted in the Lotus Sutra with propagating Buddhism after Shakamuna's death and advances through it. That is, he carries out his Buddhist practice amid the realities of the world. So, whatever you're going through externally has nothing to do with heaven. Okay. And heaven can be accessed through your mind. But there are some modalities, some effort that it takes to get there. But once you get there, you can stay there essentially, right? You can not necessarily like stay there forever, but you can go to and fro. You can do your practice, your spiritual practice, and live in this world because you know where your answers come from. But don't be so ignorant and arrogant to think that it is your thoughts that are the wisdom. Your fears are the wisdom. No, your thoughts, fears, and emotions are not the wisdom. It is the deep transformation work. Okay. And once again, if there's anything that I can help you with, reach out via DM, email, hoodmystic at Gmail, things of that nature. Utilize the links in the description to get the worksheet, to set your intention, organize your rituals, join the Discord to continue the conversation. Would love to see what breakthroughs the family has getting, the ways to let us know what's going on with you, is to join the Discord and have the conversation, as we are all initiates to some degree. So another thing, get in tune with your vitamin D. If you in the northern hemisphere, it's getting cold, it's getting dark, and so that seasonal depression is real. Don't let it fuck you up and fuck you over. Take some lion's mane or some vitamin D capsules to help you with that seasonal depression so you can tap into this sun Tifereth beautiful energy. So with all this being said, man, I hope this video was useful, helpful, impactful, and it moved you to do some deep transformative meditative work so you can access heaven within you. It's not about how good you look, where you going, how you going, what you're doing, none of that. It is how deep you are willing to go within yourself to find those answers. And if you are that person, if you are willing to make these sacrifices, you are going to be benefited. Doing a lot of shadow work these past 3 months have opened the door to so much stuff that the trouble of it all, you thinking that the trouble's going to last forever until you start doing some shadow work and things start to make a lot more sense. So check out the White Rabbit. Also check out White Rabbit Psychedelics. We have our Christmas stocking stuffers. The sale is going to last today and tomorrow, all day tomorrow. You can save 25% on your stocking stuffers. I'm telling you, this Biscoff, so damn good. You can get them individually, or you can get all five for $30 a candy bar. Psychedelic, but they taste amazing. So we just been tripping balls, eating fucking good ass candy all weekend, but such is life where you got to test the product out, things of that nature. But we got the albino candy cane, we got the Biscoff, which is my personal favorite. It's the Biscoff and cookie butter, so good. We also have the chocolate chip and mint candy cane joint. Then we have the hot chocolate. This is my second favorite, filled with the marshmallows. And then we have the classic Mr. Hood bar. All of these candy bars are milk chocolate, psilocybin, and then the ingredients of whatever we putting in there. So either candy canes, Biscoff, cookie butter, nothing added, nothing crazy, just pure milk chocolate. And I feel like these would be great stocking stuffers for people, like if you giving gifts, giving them, a psychedelic candy bar, is a wonderful gift to give to somebody. Cause I'm telling you, the ways that the chocolate and the psilocybin interact, man, is such a healing and transformative experience. Because a lot of the work that I've been doing have come from the chocolate bars. Because I personally don't like taking psilocybin. I don't like taking it for real. I have a hard time with just taking it. But in reference to the chocolate bar, it's just an easy way for me to take it. You don't taste the psilocybin at all. It just tastes like a good ass chocolate bar. But 30, 40 minutes, you into a whole different dimension. So when I was going through a lot of different blocks and a lot of different, like things that was going on in my mind to where I couldn't think clearly, it was the psilocybin that helped me get into a space where I started doing financial shadow work, and then back to investing, back to cryptocurrency, things like that. So if you're ever in the mood, you want to get a good Christmas gift, something that's different, something that's interesting, go over to White Rabbit site, get those Christmas stocking stuffers, get you the whole bundle, save you some money. And the only thing that I'm saying is if you get in them as gifts, make sure you give them to these people. Don't eat all the candy. You know what I'm saying? But like, damn, I bought you a gift, but I ate it. You know what I'm saying? Where you at? Shit, over here at Venus, about to go to Mars later. You trying to come? Like, I'm in a whole different dimension. You know what I'm saying? But if that's the case, if you might eat all the chocolate bars, get two bundles, one for yourself, one for the fam, because it's all about sharing, giving, and it's just my little infomercial in reference to doing this full time, trying to maintain an online business, maintain a lot of things that's going. It's not easy. So, if y'all can support in any ways that I can support you through psychedelics, herbs, please let me know. If that's not your bag, but you enjoy the content, please, little small donation on Cash App, never hurt nobody. $2 or $3 goes a long way. I do appreciate the help. I do appreciate the support. If you find value from these videos, if you find value from the Substack, you utilize the worksheets, then, hook a brother up with a little bit on the backside, it ain't gonna hurt nobody. It just keeps the energy flowing, keeps the energy going. We made it through another year, and I'm grateful, even though this has been probably one of the toughest years. I thought 2023 was tough, but this has been a tough year. It's also been the greatest year ever for me, right? As far as seeing where I'm going to go. I've done this for a long time. So what it has taught me is that, I know what I'm talking about, but there are some edits and some redirections of the energy that must take place. And I'm okay with that, right? And learning myself and understanding myself is going to be tough. Transformation is tough because you have to let go of that old person and allow this new person to come. So that's what I'm all about, allowing this new version of me to metamorphosize and recreate myself and hit up 2025 with some new energy. Uh, Definitely traveling in 2025, doing a lot of the things that I've always wanted to do in 2025 in reference to growing the business, expanding, all of these particular things, all reference to my intentions that I see within myself that I'm just going to bring about. in the future. So with all of that being said, man, I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that y'all enjoy my content. Hope that y'all take notes, and I hope that y'all read the article to get a deeper understanding of what I'm even talking about. So with all of that being said, like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and share this video with somebody that you think could benefit from the content. I appreciate you guys for all the support thus far, and I will keep you. Oh, they said the Discord link in the bio is expired. Let me give you a freshie Discord link before I get up out of here. Shout out to the initiates for the flame. Let us get back to what we doing. Hopefully we can get a video going. Oh, it's Sunday, so that means it is going to be initiate to the flame video. We're going to do our mastermind thing. So there goes the link to the Discord in the chat. Let me edit it in the description. All right. So it's updated. Keep us intact with what y'all got going on in reference to this new moon energy, because we're going to be, on the alert. Stay tuned for Monday. We're going to have lunar conversations with AD. And yeah, man, thanks y'all for watching, and I will definitely catch y'all on the flip side. Have a great day. Peace.
You are traveling with the Hood Mystic. Time to tap in now. You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer.